Guys, it's hot. It is hot. This is a 4th of July weekend, and what I want to talk to you today about is SN95 overheating issues. So I'm gonna give y'all a little background on the car and how I addressed it. When I bought this car, the coolant temperature sensor, or gauge, I'm sorry, was not working, and it had another gauge down here, actually not where this one is, but underneath it was a mechanical water temperature gauge or coolant temperature gauge. And you know, I replaced it. I decided I wasn't going to run a radio in this car, so that's why I put the gauge here and my fan switch here. But let me show y'all something else. After the first couple test drives in this car, I realized, let's just walk around and take this off. I realized that my fan wasn't coming on at the right time, and once it was well over 200 degrees, it was only coming on at low speed. The correct way to fix this, I didn't do. So if you're looking for the right way to fix this issue, you can watch something else. I did this a different way. I wondered if my fan was bad or weak, and it was not. You have you've got 3 prongs in your fan, and what I did is I wired my fan on a toggle switch. You know, if you're to fix it right, you might need to address the CCRM or the coolant temperature sensor or the one for the computer. Let me show y'all that before I go. Let me show y'all that before I go any further. Okay, on a 9495, your CCRM is on this bracket, and it's right there. It's that big, my shadow's getting in the way. It's that thing with a big plug down in there, right here. Anyways, I don't know if y'all see, that's just, dang, yeah, okay. See a little better like that. Anyways, that guy right there, that's your CCRM. That could be an issue, or it could be this sensor right here. This one goes to your computer. Or it could be the other sensor that goes to your dash, and it would have been down, where'd it go? Okay, down there. Anyway, I've got an aftermarket gauge, so it's got an aftermarket sending unit in it, but right there. But I didn't fix it right, but I fixed it. So in order to get high speed on my fan, I hooked some blade connectors to the outside prongs, and that's how I got high speed on my fan. Now the fan on this car, these fans are great. They're absolutely wonderful. I'll talk a little more about that later. But this fan is, the fuse for it is a 60 amp fuse, so that's a monster. So let me show y'all, if y'all decide to run this thing on a switch and wire it through a relay, which you're going to need to, because you'll burn up a switch if you don't run it through a relay. This is the relay you need. I bought this from Summit Racing. This is a Dakota Digital 70 amp relay, and it works great. Absolutely wonderful. So yes, my car is wired up on a toggle switch. It's on and off. And I didn't fix anything back to the factory way of doing it, but this works. This relay is about 30 bucks plus shipping or tax or whatever they charge these days. And anyways, the fan works great. It restored high speed because I don't know why. But anyway, it's wired to high speed to a toggle switch through that relay. So that is awesome. Once I got a new gauge installed with a toggle switch wired through the relay, that fixed my overheating problem. So my fan would run on high speed, but it ran almost all the time, and that bothered me. I was like, you know, if you're going 70 miles an hour down the interstate, your fan shouldn't have to be on. At least I didn't think so. And especially knowing what it was, you know, it had a 60 amp fuse on it. I was like, man, I'm drawing a bunch of power all the time. So it really bothered me. So it still had the factory radiator. Let me show y'all that. So this right here, this is the factory radiator out of the car. And this is the one I replaced it with. It's a SVE. You see how big the core is? I mean, huge difference. But anyways, I was saying how awesome the SN95 fans are. If you can run a radiator that small and keep a car cool, that is a heck of a fan. That is impressive. And again, once again, the difference between the two. So before I bought this car, it had been wrecked. I didn't know how bad it was. I knew the core support had been jacked up. And you know, when I bought the car, I knew that. I did not know that the K-member was in the car crooked. What had happened was on the far side of the car, on the driver's side, it busted a ball joint, or the ball joint separated and the car hit the ground. And that's when it bent the core support up and towards the back of the car. And it also, when the car hit something, when it hit, the K-member hit something. Anyway, when it did that, it just tweaked the frame. And luckily, my buddy Denzel, you know, took care of me. He got the car squared up for me. He's got a frame machine, so he got it pulled out. Anyways, all that to say, I was running the car without one of these little air dam that goes, you know, under the core support, under the radiator. So I'd read online, if you didn't have this little piece, you know, your car could overheat. So I ordered that piece from LMR, hoping that would make a difference, and it didn't. I'm not telling you not to buy one, but it made no difference in my gauge. The car ran no cooler with that. So that was sad. When I first bought the car, it had the stock hood on it. So I was thinking, you know what, if I can get the under hood temperatures down, you know, maybe it'll pull my coolant temperatures down. So I went over to Rome, Georgia, and I bought this Cobra R hood in hopes that my car would run cooler. I'll show y'all the vent on the back. You can see that. Okay, this is a better angle. So it's got a vent that'll go out. And I was thinking, you know, let the heat out. So I was thinking if I get my underhood temperatures down, my coolant temperature would come down. For me, in my experience, that didn't happen. I really thought if I put a hood on this car, it's gonna run a little bit cooler. It did not affect it in the slightest. Now, your results may vary, your mileage may vary, but for me, it has had no effect on it. It is hot out here. Golly. All right, so, and I've run this car, I put the stock hood back on since that one. Makes no difference. Under hood temperatures and coolant temperatures are two different things. So I'm not saying don't put a hood on your car, because it is good. Let the hot air out of there. You know, all your plastic and rubber and stuff will last longer if it's not getting, you know, cooked as hard. So hood's still a good thing, especially with that intake. I've run the stock hood with a Systemax intake, and it hits, like it just barely touches, just barely, but I didn't really worry about it. It was just touching in one spot. But I didn't run it long like that. So, okay, now to the next thing. I've rambled enough. This is the difference that I was not expecting. I could not believe the difference. I did not do this for coolant temperatures. So obviously you can see right there on the ground, we've got the stock GT bumper cover. You can tell because of the fog lights. Or Cobra has round fog lights. Those are kind of shaped like that. Anyways, car now has a Cobra bumper cover. Now, I can get this to sit right. The Cobra, dang it, I need a lovely assistant. Let's see. Well, let's see if I can get that. Okay, the Cobra, the opening right there in a Cobra, I don't know if you can tell, it looks slightly bigger. And I believe the main difference is on the bottom. All kinds of struggles, guys. Okay, so the bottom, See how the bottom of this is? Okay, on a Cobra, it attaches to the core support right here, not here, and right over here. So you've got two attachment points. And then there is none of this material underneath. And I think with all that being gone, it's actually able to breathe better from underneath. So yeah, one of the biggest differences, actually the biggest difference in cooling, was running this Cobra bumper. I have not had to use the fan nearly as much with the Cobra bumper as I did with the factory GT bumper. Now, that's crazy. That blew my mind. I put the bumper cover on there because I think the Cobra bumper covers look better. I think it really looks good on the car. I was not expecting it to make a difference in the cooling, but obviously the Cobra bumper cover flows more air and I don't have to run my fan as much. And one reason I can testify to that is because I have a manual switch in my car. I turn my fan off, I turn my fan on. I say that right? Anyways, it's on a switch. There's no kind of control to it. There's no like thermostat to it. It's all me. So anyways, this I hope this helped. The hood did not help with coolant temperature. The deflector that goes under the radiator, it didn't make a difference. What made the biggest difference was the bumper cover and running my fan on a switch. Now I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of guys have these cars and their car will run hot and a fan will only come on a slow speed. So let me share something else with y'all. So if you want your car to run cooler but you're not happy about running it on a switch, I would recommend going over to VRM's channel. He is putting together a really nice, clean, well thought out 86 GT, and in one of his videos he mentioned a special kind of controller he had to run his fans on his car. So if you are having trouble with your car running hot and the fan only coming on slow speed, you can still wire it up like I did. Put the connections on the two outside posts of your fan. This relay is what you're going to need. It's a 70 amp Dakota digital relay, and then if you run that through VRM's controller that he talks about in his video, you should be able to fix your problem and not have to worry about running hot anymore. All right, guys, that video was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but I hope it helped. You know, if your car is running hot, you know, get that fan, you know, wired up so it'll run on high speed, and be looking for a Cobra bumper. Now, if you can't find a Cobra bumper, I got another idea for you. If you feel comfortable with it, take and cut the center section out of the bottom of your GT bumper cover and see if that helps. And let me know. I'm curious if it's going to help you. I think that's the main difference in the Cobra and the GT, is the underneath part where it attaches to the core support. Good luck keeping your SN95 cool, and y'all have a happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Cherish your freedom, protect your freedom, and I want to thank all those who serve. We'll see y'all later.